Hi, my name is Crystal, and I'm the founder of Amazon Sellers Society. Welcome to The Peak, the first virtual summit for Amazon and e-commerce sellers based in the MENA region. In this live session, we're going to be answering probably the most asked question. What should I sell on Amazon? Or is my product going to be successful on Amazon? In this session, we're going to be talking about product hunting, product research, keyword research, and all the latest tips and tricks that you need in order to become a pro Amazon seller. Join me in welcoming Nithin Mindretti, Director of Customer Success for Sellerapp. Hi, Nithin.
Hey, Crystal. Thank you for this introduction. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be part of this event here.
Me too, so much. Everybody who's joining us, make sure that you click the thumbs up and the subscribe button so you are notified whenever there are some additional sessions today and tomorrow. Definitely stay until the end of the session because Nithin is going to be answering all of your questions live. But for now, let's get started, Nithin.
Absolutely. It is exciting to talk about identifying the right product to sell on Amazon because I think that's the key question for any business to start off selling, right? Any key business needs the right product to really be able to sell and identify how to be successful. And that is the basic question we will be trying to answer over here, along with the key few points that we need to keep in mind on navigating through the entire Amazon's process of selling, on how to sell on Amazon. You need to have some keyword research and you need to run these PPC ad campaigns. So those are the key points we will be covering. And I've got a small presentation that we have that I like to walk you guys through so it kind of gets better to see what we're talking also, right?
Perfect. Let's get started.
Yes. So can you have the presentation on?
Yeah. Can we get the presentation? Perfect.
Yes. So I'm Nitin. After the lovely introduction by Crystal, just got a couple of things to add. I've got close to 10 years of experience working with supply chain. Started my career with supply chain management and then went on to business development and strategic planning. I worked with one of the biggest IT companies in India. After which I had my own company. That's where I kind of learned the difficulties of all the sellers out there, the challenges that customers, our sellers face, or any seller faces when they're starting a business and when they're running the business and growing it. Post that, I decided to join Sellerapp, and here I've been just helping out all those sellers with my experience with understanding the challenges and selling on the e-commerce platform. So we at Sellerapp are trying to create and help sellers. We are trying to create an ecosystem of sorts that will help sellers in their entire journey on selling on Amazon, right? It could be starting off with the registration, it could be with sourcing, it could be with the entire advertising management, it could be with logistics, the entire jazz of running a business. And we're starting towards that goal where, once a seller comes part of any of our ecosystem, we kind of help them with our different partners. We've got we've got Payoneer, we've got DHL, we've got other partners whom we help a lot of our sellers with the entire journey of running a business. We over here, we have our expertise in running PPC campaigns, providing data-intensive analytics, and of course, the keyword research, listing optimization. These are the few key things that we do over here at Sellerapp. Now, what is product research? I think that's the key thing, right? So it's the process of deep analysis and trying to understand the market trends to find that right winning product. We have a lot of data points. We have a lot of data and insights out there, but we need to really, what we try to do is provide you with information that will help you make informed decisions to maximize your return on the investment that you invested in the company or in the product, right? It is the idea is to analyze and find the right product and source those products cheaply and sell it at a competitive price that is also that's also profitable. Now, once we do this,
that's fantastic because you're right. We need to analyze and source at a cheaply, like you said. Yeah,
exactly,
for sure.
So sorry about this. Yeah.
No worries.
So it is about, it is exactly, we need to analyze a lot of data, and kind of becomes a very tedious task to do this manually, because you have millions of products on Amazon, you have multiple marketplaces to sell on Amazon. There are multiple marketplaces that are there on Amazon. So to manually go and check all these different areas and go through different products, analyze these different data points, understand what is the right selling product, what are the top selling products on Amazon, and what are the revenue that is generated. How do you really pinpoint what is profitable for you? Understanding the customer voice, that is the key thing that we also talk about. It's not just about identifying selling products, but also understanding the voice of the customer, as we call it over here at Sellerapp. You need to understand what is it the customer is looking for. What is it that the customer dislikes in the products that are already being sold? That's the key thing. Once you understand what people don't like, or what is the problem in the existing product, you can tweak it and sell a better product on you can tweak that product, right?
Yeah.
So the importance of product research, well, it comes down to identifying the right product, the right pricing, understanding, as I already spoke about, the voice of the customer, and keeping a close eye on the competition. Now, during COVID, we realized there was a huge spike in toilet paper, sanitizers, and masks. Now, many customers, they came back to us asking, is it a good time to launch these products on Amazon? And it may not, because it takes time to source those products, send it to the Amazon warehouse, and then practically start selling. It takes a long time. The whole supply chain process. By the time maybe the whole the requirement would have probably come down. There would be more competition coming in. So it's really about it's about always keeping in mind how you can differentiate your product. It's not about duplicating existing products and selling on Amazon. You need to keep in mind how can you differentiate. It could be through price, it could be through the product itself, understanding what needs to be changed, what the customer really wants to be sold on to be bought on Amazon. So these are the key things that we need to keep. And something that a lot of times gets missed out is to keep a close eye on the competition, right? Many a times we've seen this. There was this one time we had once back last year, where um, he was selling good. He had some really good sales for momentum, and then suddenly it dipped. And it took us a while to understand what happened. And because we had these tools set in place and these feedback that we get from our system, we realized that the competition had increased their prices. And the moment that we realized that, we went back, changed the price, tweaked it to something that is in line with the competition, in line with the market trend, and the sales came back up. So that is something that's a continuous analysis. That's a continuous thing we need to keep in mind, to keep close watch on how the competition is treating those products on Amazon as well.
For sure. Especially in emerging marketplaces such as Amazon UAE and Amazon KSA, a lot of people probably don't think that this is very important because it's a smaller marketplace and not a lot of competition. But definitely selling online and e-commerce in Amazon is improving bounds and leaps. That's why, yes, we need to always be on the cutting edge of anything and all the information that you need in order to become a pro Amazon seller.
That's absolutely well put over there, Crystal. So we call it the 3 Ps, right? The 3 Ps of product research. I hear that. So one is the price. So it's very important for a seller to, or it's advised for sellers to keep in mind the impulsive buying range of customers when we are selling product. We've usually seen, especially in the US marketplace, the $10 to $50 budget, $10 to $50 selling price is what we call as impulsive buying range, right? That's when people don't really think twice buy a product as long as they see value. It's not just about the price also. It's also about the value that they get from the product. And then, of course, is the position. You need to identify the niche and decide how and where you want to position your brand. Is it something you want to advertise? Is it a large audience you want to cater to, or is it a specific audience that you're trying to focus on and try to cater to their needs? And then, of course, the product strategy. This is very critical, especially I think it doesn't really matter how big a seller you are, but product strategy is very important, because you should never be in a position where you're out of inventory, or you have delays in stocks coming into the warehouse. So you should not be either, you shouldn't be left with too much of inventory or too less of an inventory. It has to be planned. We need to focus and prepare ourselves on how we need to position a product, how we want to market the product, what are the approximate trends or the trend lines in getting those sales for our product on Amazon, right? So we need to keep all these in mind before we really go ahead and decide on buying the inventory. We really don't want to be in a position where we have a lot of stock left with us and we don't know what to do with it.
For sure.
Then these are a couple, yeah, and then there are a couple of checklists of sorts that we have, right? Like we already mentioned, one is keeping the price point of the product in that impulsive buying. That's something we should really keep in mind, to keep it within the $10 to $50 range. And then while we are doing this entire product research, it's very important to keep in mind a couple of factors, like is the existing product that is being sold on Amazon, does it have at least 10 sales per day? Does it have a BSR of 5,000? Now, BSR is the bestsellers rank on Amazon. It's a kind of an evaluation of the product. It kind of gives you the rank on how well the product is currently being sold on Amazon. So why we say to compare a product with a product that's already being sold on Amazon, which has a really good score of 5,000, right? That's because it gives us an idea of the demand for that product. If it is way more than 5,000, or if it's more than maybe 100,000, 150,000, there are very few people buying that product, right? So we should really focus on having or analyzing and comparing our product with those that have a very good BSR score. That will give us an idea of the trends of customer buying that product. And another thing is something that we'll be covering a little later in our presentation today is to have three key product keywords that have accumulated a monthly search volume of 100,000, right?
Yes.
That's very important. We should not miss out. It could be, we might have a niche product that does not have, and we might really have beautiful images. We might have done a beautiful listing, but if it does not have keywords that have a search volume, we lose out on the visibility of the product. It's very important for us to identify at least three keywords and have them incorporated into our listing, have them incorporated into the PPC ads, which have at least 100,000 search volume, because that's the bare minimum. You need to have product visibility. You need to have your product visible to the customers, and then ensure that, and then we can focus on the sales part of it.
Yeah.
Next is this is something that people sometimes miss out, is to have the product that when we are doing the product research, to identify products that are small and lightweight and easier to ship. There are a lot of benefits when we're looking at the size of the product, right? It's easy to transport, and what's more critical is the Amazon fees itself. The Amazon fees are charged based on the size of the product and the weight of the product. So we need to keep that in mind. And it kind of becomes an additional overhead when we're sending large size products to the Amazon warehouse. So that's something that we should cut down. And then we should always have these areas where we can really cut down on the overhead cost. So we are left with higher margins. And at the end of the day, that's what we're doing about, right? We're trying to make profit when we sell. Another thing is to have products that are non-seasonal, right? It does not. I don't think it's a very good idea to start off, at least for beginner sellers, to have seasonal products. It's not something that is scalable. It's not something that is sustainable. So we should keep a close eye and keep that in mind, that the product that we're selecting is something that is non-seasonal. It is something that can be sold throughout the year, irrespective of what year, what month, what season it is. And also important to not have a very small niche, else we don't have the volumes to
especially
make money
in smaller marketplaces like the UAE and KSA, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. That is something we should. I speak to a lot of sellers, and I speak to them, and they come up with these amazing ideas of products that they want to sell on Amazon. We provide them the data required to analyze the competition, and we kind of give them. It's like, how do I put it? They're so passionate about having these new products launched on Amazon, but then we need to understand, right? There's so many products on Amazon, and we really need to find the audience for that. Not many people would realize that very niche products are available on Amazon. Example, you have so many new products coming into the gourmet industry, right? And in gourmet food is just fantastic. People are booming. You have a lot of new sellers who are, especially during the COVID, people realize that everybody's a chef.
Making
There's this inner
bread,
talent.
all of these,
Exactly.
making
Yeah,
cake. Yeah.
exactly. And fancy chocolates. So it's not always a good idea to launch those on Amazon, right? Because there's already a huge market and people don't know that you have these products on Amazon. So we really need to keep in mind on the audience that is present over there before we launch a product, or at least have the capital to go all out in the advertising and make sure we have those products visible to every seller on Amazon, or every buyer over there.
I think that's why data is so important, because it's very obvious whether you should or you should not sell this product, and it removes any emotions and anything that you shouldn't really rely on. That's why data and utilizing tools to help you make a decision can make it a less of a risky move.
Absolutely. So and that's exactly where we will be going to the next slide, where we talk about mistakes to avoid, right? As I already mentioned, we should really focus on not having a product that has a very, very small niche. And then when we're pricing the product, we should keep in mind that we don't really undersell the product. We don't advertise, we don't price the product which is very low, which is not going to be profitable for us, because
Yeah.
we have a lot of competition, and at the end of the day, there's a lot of overheads when you're selling on e-commerce platforms. It's not just about manufacturing the product and selling it. There are a lot of other overheads that are being charged, and we should keep that in mind. We should never forget to calculate the profit margins, and never ever forget to keep an eye out on the customer feedback. That is something that is an absolute big no. We should always keep a very close watch on the voice of the customer, as we call it. Ensure what is keep listen to what they're telling, take their feedback, try to improve the product, and identify areas where we can improve the product and make it a better customer experience for people who are buying the product. Now, when I think we've spoken a lot about niche, right? Now, what is a niche? I think I'd like to just take a minute to explain what a niche is. It's a special segment category that interests or appeals to a smaller, focused customer base, right? It's about finding. So when we talk about niche, we should really focus on a very a very targeted audience that is not very small, but also has a pretty decent sales volume. And that is the key thing, especially when the global e-commerce is booming so much. You know, there's so many sellers, new entrepreneurs who are getting into e-commerce and finding the opportunity to sell easily and reach out to millions of new buyers out there. It's very important to have this in mind, where we identify that niche, identify that target audience, where we have a very good sales volume as well.
Yeah.
And once we've done all that, is the Amazon PPC. Now, Amazon PPC is just fantastic because you're competing against so many sellers, you're competing against so many products. How do you stand out, right? It's like when you go into a mall and you have so many brands out there. How do you stand out? How do you really get your product visible to customers out there? And that is where PPC comes in. PPC is the pay per click advertising module of Amazon, where you can advertise your products and have your products to be shown to the customers or right on the top of the page when they're searching for goods. All right. Now, why is it important? Because a lot of things are dependent on the sales momentum. Your BSR ranking, which I said earlier, the bestsellers rank, is something that's a very critical factor, because this is something that we should really keep in mind when the Amazon's goal is to have products that are like to have customers get the product that they want to sell as soon as possible, right? They don't want, and everybody knows that the attention span of users on any e-commerce platform or anywhere online, the attention span has reduced drastically. So that's the key, right? So even Amazon does not want a customer to really spend so much time to find their product. So it is important for us to be able to have a product positioned right in first page. Me personally, when I'm searching for something on Google, I don't go to the second page. When I'm searching on Amazon, I don't go to the second page of the second page. I just stay in the way I search. So it's important to have the product come up on the first page itself and first page of the search page, right? And how do you get that? You need to have momentum. You need to have that sales. Amazon will organically push your product on the top of this to the first page
The
only
more
if you
sales you
have
have.
sales.
Yeah,
There are other factors, of course. You should have on-time
of
deliveries,
course.
and then you should have the quality. You should not have negative ratings and reviews. But the key
For sure.
factor that underlines the success on Amazon is to have a good sales
Sales.
momentum, and
Yeah.
PPC is the way to go there. Next, again, it goes down to the same thing: product visibility. Having your product visible to customers right at the first. Improve your brand awareness. People need to really understand how you want customers to know about your brand. And with the millions of products that are available on Amazon, you need to stand out. And how do you do that? Is using these different advertising modules that we have on Amazon. Use them to ensure that people you position your brand in different spaces of the web page, and people kind of get to know and get to interact with your brand on Amazon.
Mm.
And then, of course, to maintain the SERP, which is the search engine rank page, and the sales rank on Amazon. Now, how do we do this? There are different types of sponsored ads, right?
This
We
is
know
like
what
a
is.
whole different world after you
It is.
learn
It is.
what to sell on Amazon, for sure. It's a
And
different skill that everybody needs to master.
absolutely. And it's a little concerning for me because this is going to be a lot overwhelming data for our viewers out there. Right? Have so
For
many
sure.
things that you need to keep in mind for product research, and then you have these ads. And Amazon advertising by itself is a massive information overload of sorts. So we know why is it important to advertise on Amazon. How do we advertise? Now there are primarily three different types of advertising that you can do on Amazon, which is the sponsored product ads, the sponsored brand ads, and sponsored display ads. Right? So sponsored product ads are those ads that will come up on your search page. But as soon as you search on Amazon's search bar, you have a search page that comes with your list of products. Now let me just
Yeah.
show you, right? So like for example, here we're searching for earphones, right? The moment you search for earphones, usually the first few products that are shown on the search page, you have this small icon which says sponsored. Those are the sponsored products, right? And we really need to ideally have a product right there on the top of the page. We call it the top of the page because that is where we see maximum interaction with our products, and that's why we also see the maximum conversions for our products, right? So it is really important for customers when they're selling on Amazon and when they're advertising to try and get that ideal sweet spot. Be right at the top, have your products lined up right there on the top so customers get to interact with your product immediately. This is an ideal way to have your inventory moving really quick, right? Because it's comparatively a little cheaper advertise over here. There are a lot of, you can reach out to a lot more people, and you can also gain a lot of visibility for these products. And that's the key thing when you're advertising on Amazon, right? It's all about improving the visibility and the brand awareness, and of course the sales.
Yeah.
Then I was talking about improving the brand awareness. So Amazon sponsored brand advertising is the way to go. So this is something which is otherwise known as the headline ads. So this is something that comes right at the top of your search results. It has your brand, it has your logo. You can customize the top 3 selling products that you want to advertise or give focus on, right? It is a brilliant way to promote your seasonal products that you have in your catalog, especially when you have, it's okay to have seasonal products and you have a large inventory or a large catalog, right?
For sure.
So you can focus on those 3 top products and then have it right there and as a banner with your brand, with your logo, and people get to see your brand name as well and get to interact with the brand. You can connect it to your storefront, which is similar to a web page on Amazon, right? So
Yeah.
you can increase the interaction between the customers and your products. It's not just about it's no more about that one single product that people get to click
You want
on
to
and
push them to see
see
all of your
products
different
exactly.
products. Yeah.
And how do you do
Exactly.
that? Is to
So
have
for
these brand
everyone who's
ads.
watching us, sorry, Nathan, for everyone
Yeah,
who's watching us, I'm seeing your comments and fantastic questions. Definitely, Nathan will be answering them at the end. So make sure that you stay with us till the end, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying Nathan's content.
right.
Perfect.
So the way to have that improve the brand awareness is to have that sponsored brand ads, and divert the attention from just that one spot to your storefront where customers can interact with all your products. And suddenly it's like they're entering your showroom. In a mall, they're entering your showroom. They get to see all your products, all the variations, all the new arrivals. They get to see everything over there. And it's a beautiful way to improve the interactions with the customers. This is another type of advertising which is called sponsored display advertising. This is a brilliant way to try and divert attention from your competitor's page to your listing page on Amazon. Just to give you an information, right? So listing page is basically your product page on Amazon. Once you click on your product, you have your title, bullet points, your description. That's your product page, right? So this is a kind of advertisement which comes right under the product or bullet points. So you can focus on having your ads or having your product advertised right under your competitor's ASINs. And this way you can divert the attention of the customer to your product page, and that's all there is to do on Amazon. Divert attention continuously and ensure there's increased interaction with your products on Amazon. Like I mentioned earlier, right? Amazon
That's everybody's
question. Yes, there's a lot of it's a lot to do in Amazon's advertising. There's so many metrics, so much data to analyze. But one of the key metrics that everybody looks at is the advertising cost of sales, which we call as the ACoS in short. So advertising cost of sales is a ratio of the amount of money spent on your ad versus the revenue generated through those ads, right? So that is a percentage. So you just multiply by 100. That's the formula that's on the screen there. It's simple. It's spend by revenue and 100. So obviously over here, as you can see, the lower the ACoS, the better your ads are performing. The higher the ACoS, you're spending more. So it's a key metric that kind of gives an indication of how well your ads are performing on Amazon. But it is also important to remember that it's not always good to have a low ACoS or to focus on having ACoS that is really low. Of course, you make a lot of money when you have ACoS, a low ACoS, because you're spending less and making more money. But not all the time that would be the goal of any business. Sometimes you want to launch a product where you need to spend money. So you should be aware of what is it trying to achieve, what are your targets, what are your goals, and then accordingly calculate your margins and then come up with what is your target ACoS. And all these, just to give you another heads up, right? We have a beautiful tool for advertising, which I'd like to again mention is currently live for the complete Middle East region. So it's available for Saudi as well as the UAE marketplaces. And there are some really insightful tools, because
we wanted to keep that till the end as a reveal, but okay, now you revealed it.
All right. So these tools really help. There's so many metrics that you need to analyze, right? You need to look at some keywords, you need to look at the search terms, you need to look at the ACoS, the conversion rate. How do you navigate through all that? You have a tool, and that's something that we have over here, that you can just log in, connect, and ease your complete management of the advertisements using the automation tools as well. Next is the keyword research that we'd like to talk about, right? Now, keyword research is another. Everything is so massive, but it is so beautiful and necessary, right? Because keyword research, as the name suggests, is again a deep analysis of keywords that are relevant to your product. You want to understand what are those words that consumers or customers are searching on Amazon? What is it that is relevant to your product? What is the ideal, are those keywords indexed or not? So there are a lot of things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing keyword research, right? So Amazon keyword research is basically the process of finding all those relevant keywords for your product and ensuring that those are indexed on your listing. Now, what do you mean by indexing is this kind of an example that I keep giving to a lot of my customers, right? It's like in a library. When you go to a library and you go to a librarian over there and you ask for a book, they know exactly where it is in all those thousands and millions of books they have in the library. That's because they know, they've structured it. They've arranged the books in a particular order. So they know, okay, you have to, if you want a book, you just tell them and you ask them and they tell you, okay, go to that room, go to that floor, go to that
section,
cabinet, and that's where it is, right? And that is what indexing is all about. Amazon indexes your listing. So you have keywords, or you have everything that is there in your listing, and the title, the bullet points, the description, everything is indexed. Amazon automatically identifies the keywords that are relevant to your product and indexes it for your product. So we need to really have a regular check on whether these keywords are indexed or not. Next, why is it again? I kind of diverted over there, but yeah. So why again is it important to do keyword research? Because we know for a fact that people don't have, like, everybody's got their own way of searching for products, right?
Exactly.
Let's say you want someone wants to search for a chair. You have different types of chair. You have ergonomic chairs, you have camping chairs, you have sofa sets, you have just some chairs
Desk
that are there
chair,
in the hotel.
everything.
Desk
Yeah.
chair, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
how do we know? Like, we need to know all the different types of ways people are looking for your product, and that's where a concept of search term comes in, right? So search term is something that is search on Amazon. That's the way how consumers or customers search for products on
Find your
search
product,
bar.
searcher for your
Find your
products. Yeah.
products, exactly. So any seller or anybody who's selling on Amazon needs to know how is it that a customer is searching for your product. Now, let's take an example of camping chair. Somebody could just search for camping chairs. They could be looking for foldable camping chairs, or they could probably also call it a travel chair or a small
Yeah.
portable travel chair. So, because all these ways of someone searching for your product is relevant to your product. Your camping chair can be a portable chair. It can be a travel chair, right? So these are the different ways you want your product to be visible for someone who's searching for a travel chair. Maybe it's a camping chair, but it can also be used as a travel chair. So these are the different ways and different permutations and combinations of customers searching for your product on Amazon, right? We need to understand and really target those. And keywords are something that can be used both to improve, as we call, the discoverability and the desirability over here itself, right? So discoverability is how easy is it for a customer to find your product on Amazon, and
Yeah.
desirability is how easy is he convinced about your product. Is it something that he finds value? Does he? So we need to find those keywords. We need to find those search terms, analyze them, put it into your listing to improve the desirability, because then they understand. Because Amazon, people don't really. It's a completely different thing. It's online. People now, they cannot touch and feel your product, right? And it is
Exactly.
very
They
important
can't
that
sit in the
people,
chair. They can't test it out,
they can't
which
test
is
it. Yes,
which is hard.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it just goes on to say how important it is to beautifully explain what your product is exactly, without really overselling your product, right? You need to be
Yeah.
specific. You need to convince them that this is the right product for you without having the ability to touch and feel your product, right?
Which
So
is a good skill. But Nathan, let me ask you a question. So keywords, they're not only for Amazon, they're for the Amazon search engine and algorithm, but additionally for their like keywords for the customer to figure out that, yep, that's the type of product that I'm looking for, a foldable camping chair, for example.
exactly, absolutely correct, right? And it
Yeah.
just goes on, right? Because like I mentioned, you have first thing is you have a very low attention span
Yeah.
on any e-commerce, on any
Online.
website, on your
Yeah.
phone, everywhere online, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
somebody searches for a camping chair, they don't find the product that they want, they don't go to the second, third, fourth page. They
No.
just change the way they search. They'll say, okay, travel chair, portable chair, right? So, and Amazon's work is always to ensure that the customer who's searching for the product gets what he wants as soon as possible so that they can buy the product. So we need to have all these data.
That's what we
We need
want.
to have all
Yeah.
these you need
Yeah.
to have all these keywords and put it into the listing. And also you can use these into your advertising, because that is how you improve the visibility of your product. These are the search terms you pluck from the data analysis that we do on keyword research, and put it into your advertising if it is relevant. As long as it is relevant, as long as you feel
Yeah.
that is a keyword that you want your product to be shown on Amazon search pages, we take that and advertise for those keywords and then improve the visibility. And then,
I'm
so
very intrigued and I'm very happy that you talked about PPC ads before talking about keywords, because a lot of people think that by just having the proper keywords in a listing, then it's going to be automatically on the first page. What do you think?
it is very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially when you're launching a new product, it almost becomes like a chicken and egg situation, because you
Exactly.
have millions of products. Now you have a beautiful listing, right? You have done your thorough keyword research. You've got the best search volume keywords. You've incorporated that into your title, the bullet points, and the description. You've got perfect images and you have got this beautiful videos. But then Amazon doesn't just take product right there and put it on the top, because there are already
Yeah.
existing sellers out there. There are people who've been selling for a long time now, who built a reputation, who built the credibility with those good ratings and reviews on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just go and pop up in the first page, right? For that, you need to again advertise. So to get sales, you need to
You need to
advertise.
sell. Yeah.
You need to sell. To get sales, of course, you need to sell, and to get those sales, you need to be visible on Amazon. It's a complete 360-degree cycle, right? Where you advertise product, you have the beautiful listings, you run those analysis to get keywords, and then put it into your Amazon advertising to improve the visibility again. So and
Exactly.
it's a continuous cycle. It's
Yeah.
something and that can never go into an auto mode, and it is a time consuming. Many a times, this is something that we really need to keep in mind, that it's not an easy cakewalk to sell on Amazon. It is time
We
consuming.
don't want it to be
It takes
easy,
time.
because if it was easy, everybody would be able to do it. So we want it. Everybody is able to do it, but the people who are going to succeed are the people who are committed to succeed.
Exactly,
So they're
exactly.
going to hone their skills to take it to the next level. It's not where just simply putting a product on Amazon and some magic is going to happen.
Absolutely. And it is time consuming. It takes a lot of time also,
Yeah.
because we need to remember we are
Mm-hmm.
competing with millions, not thousands, millions of products, and there are millions of sellers
Exactly.
out there. And
Exactly.
now, recently, Amazon also has helped sellers to source globally and sell. To source locally and sell globally through their Amazon platform itself. So you can sit in Dubai, you can source products over there and
Yeah.
sell your product to consumers sitting in the US, all the way on the opposite side of the world, right? And it just increases the scope over there. It is just beautiful to talk about Amazon,
It
because
is.
it has a lot of opportunity for a lot of sellers. There are so many different products you wouldn't assume is something that people would sell or buy, and yet you have such demand for that, maybe in a different part of the world, right?
For sure.
And
It
and
doesn't matter who you are and where you come from and where you live, even. You can become a successful Amazon seller, but you need to do the work, of course. Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, and that's where the keyword research also is very important, as you mentioned correctly, right? We really need to understand what is important and to sell on Amazon. We need it's a loop that I keep talking, right? It's a loop where you need to have a good listing, you need to have good images, you need to have a good, well-structured PPC campaigns to improve the visibility. You have to have your brand visible. You have to get good sales, on-time delivery. There's so many factors that go into it, and everything is very important. There is no one part that is more important than the others, because everything goes hand in hand. You need to have a good listing. You need to have a good PPC to get more sales. You need to have a good logistics to ensure that deliveries happen on time and you don't lose out on negative. You don't get negative ratings for bad deliveries, right? So it's a continuous cycle, and this is something we call as the good keyword formula, right? So you have to have keywords. So we've spoken a lot about how we have to have the high search volume keywords. We spoke about how people have different ways of searching for your product on Amazon, right? And that is how we categorize it. You have search volumes, you have long tail keywords, you have impression rate, relevancy, and trending, right? So what are all these jargons that I'm throwing at our viewers out here? So search volume is basically the average number of times a keyword or search term is searched on Amazon in a month. So right in the beginning of our presentation, I spoke about how you need to have, when you're doing a product research, you need to have at least 3 keywords that have a search volume of 100,000 plus. So that is what I was talking about, which has search volume. That basically improves your impression count. It improves your visibility on Amazon. Next is your long tail keywords. Long tail keywords are words which are more specific, right? So, for example, um, running shoes is a generic keyword, right? Someone searching for Nike running shoes or a branded keyword running shoes for men, the whole entire thing becomes a long tail keyword where the customer knows exactly what he's trying to look for. A better example would be water bottles. right? Water bottle is very generic. You have plastic water bottles, you have eco-friendly water bottles, you have steel water bottles, different types of water bottles.
Yes.
Now, long tail keywords are those where a customer who's searching for water bottles is generic, but someone who's searching for reusable stainless steel water bottle, he knows exactly what he's looking for. And those are very important because if you're selling a stainless steel water bottle that is obviously reusable, you need to ensure that your product is reaching specific target audience who's searching for that product in that specific manner. So it's very important to have these long tail keywords also
Yeah.
incorporated into our ads as well. Then you have the relevancy. Relevancy, of course, is also it goes on to talk about how closely those search terms are relevant to your product, right? How closely it is. It talks about the product because when you're talking about camping chairs can also be called as traveling chairs or portable chairs. So that is a pretty relevant keyword for you, right? So that is something that also we need to analyze. We have a bunch of keywords. You need to see what is that is relevant to your product and take those as part of your research as well. And then, of course, you
I
have the
think a lot
trending.
of people discover the importance of relevancy when they launch their products on Amazon and they try to cater to, meaning like if you're selling a water bottle, you think, well, maybe somebody who's buying, I don't know, a yoga mat is going to be interested. So they try to, especially with advertising, to target these keywords, and they figure out that they're not able to because of the relevancy issue.
Absolutely. And one more beautiful thing is, as I mentioned, Amazon's core focus is to ensure customers get their product as soon as possible when
That
they
they're
search,
looking
right?
for. And yes,
And
for sure.
relevancy plays a very important role. We should
Mhm.
never really focus have non-relevant keywords incorporated into our, especially on the ad campaigns, because no matter what, after a point in time, if Amazon sees that people are not really buying a product when, let's say you have a yellow water bottle,
Yeah.
and you're targeting red water bottle as a keyword. Now, Amazon, after a point in time, will realize that a customer searching for red water bottle is not buying a yellow water bottle, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want. So it'll after a point in time, even if you're advertising, even if you're bidding pretty high for those keywords, um,
Mhm.
Amazon is not going to push your product onto the top page. It'll slowly because you've lost your relevancy there because customers are
Yeah.
not buying your product. So it's very important to keep this fact also in mind when we're trying to advertise or increase the visibility. We shouldn't just go all out and randomly add keywords into our ad campaigns just because we found that as something that is remotely relevant to our product. And
For
of
sure.
course, trending keywords. This is interesting because I'll give you an example. There was another customer. I was talking about this somewhere else. I didn't know until recently there was words like YOLO, right? You only live once. That's a
Yeah.
new word that just came up, and that is
You don't
something
know it?
that I I didn't know it when I didn't know. When I knew it, I realized it, right? But there was a time I didn't know about it, and there's always a learning, right? And it's the same thing that happens on Amazon. People have different over a period of time. We realize that the same exact product, you have people looking for it in different ways. Maybe during Christmas they have a different way of searching for the same products. Maybe during summer they
Yeah.
have a different way of searching the same exact product. So it is very important to keep an eye out on those as well and advertise or keep those keywords or change our listing frequently to suit the seasonalities or to suit the trends that is in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to the end of what I wanted to talk about product research and advertising and keyword research. There's a lot more there's to this, but unfortunately, I think we do have certain time constraints, and I would love to talk more about this maybe a little later, right? And if viewers have more questions, I would definitely. I think we could have another session as well if they have something specific about only keyword research or only advertising. We can always talk about it.
For sure. You want to get started with the questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So I'm getting a question a lot of, about Sellerapp and where Sellerapp currently functions for which marketplace.
So, as I mentioned, it's exciting times here at Sellerapp because until beginning of this year, we were focused purely on Amazon US marketplace, and we have other services. So Sellerapp has a dashboard. It's a SaaS product which provides data, it provides data analytic tools, and it provides insights on what is happening in the product side of it or the advertising side of it, right? So the tool was only available for the US marketplace, and just recently we launched the product to multiple marketplaces. So there are multiple tools that we have on Sellerapp, but there are specific tools that we launched for all the marketplaces, which is the
Yeah.
advertising module, the keyword research, and the product research is currently not there for all the marketplaces. There are certain challenges that we're facing as we enter different marketplaces, right? So the advertising and the keyword research is there for all the marketplaces where Amazon is currently present. Product research is beautifully working for the UK, Canada, India marketplace. The Japanese marketplace is also open. The UAE marketplace, we launched it, but then we realized that there was some issue with certain relevancy, so we kind of pulled it back out, and we should be launching that again within a couple
But
of
you are
weeks.
available in the UAE and KSA marketplace because everybody is asking for PPC keyword research.
Absolutely. Keyword research and PPC, we are right there, and it's working beautiful. We've already tested it. We've got some of our customers to test it out. We've had customers out there who were using the beta version of the platform, and well, they've already capitalizing on it.
Perfect. Let's a question from Muhammad. Is it a must to have the brand name registered for copyrights before being able to launch on Amazon? Basically, do you need to have a trademark and have it registered with Amazon before you actually start selling?
If it is your own product, that obviously makes sense to have it registered. So it's difficult for customer or for other sellers to duplicate your product. So if you're manufacturing the product and you have certain USPs in the product, definitely get it registered. But apart from that, it is always good to have your brand registered within Amazon as well, because that opens up the other advertising modules. Okay, that's something I missed out during the PPC thing, right? So
No,
sponsored
we
product
talked
is
about it,
something
but
that
maybe
is
it wasn't very clear that you can have some additional benefits other than just basically removing hijackers and having a nice looking listing. There are a lot of benefits to being brand registered on Amazon.
exactly. So in terms of advertising, you get access to the sponsored brand ads and the display ads, right? So it is definitely a good idea to have the product brand registered before launching.
Yeah. But it's not a requirement, just to
It's
make
not a
it clear.
requirement, yes.
Yeah, yeah. A question from Farhan. So basically, I know this is a very tough question to answer because it depends on the marketplace, on the category, on so many things. But his first question is about, how much money you should be spending on PPC when you're launching your product, maybe. And he's saying also in a follow-up question, should it be an auto campaign or should it be something else?
All right. I think that's very good question, right? Because he seems to already have the basic idea of selling on Amazon. And you already helped me with my answer. It is a difficult question to answer because there are a lot of factors that go into it. So I'll take up the second question first, right? If you're launching the product newly on Amazon, it is a good idea to have the automatic campaign running because you would get Amazon to work for you in analyzing or pushing your product to the right set of audience or right audience on Amazon. So it's something we call as keyword mining, and Amazon does the job for us through automatic campaigns. You don't have to you get access to the different ways a customer is searching for your product, and it also gives you an insight on how Amazon is pushing your product or what Amazon feels is relevant to your product. It could be a keyword or it could be other products that Amazon feels is relevant for a product that should be advertised and where you can get conversions. Now, coming to the budget, it is something that we need to keep in mind, right? It is a complex calculation, but to keep it simple, you can start off with a smaller budget, say maybe around if UAE marketplace, I would suggest having it starting off with at least 50 to 100 dirhams per day. And then as the conversion increase, you can always, increase the ad spend. As the impressions and the visibility increases, and you know that the conversions are happening, you keep on increasing the budget.
You did say something very interesting during, when we were explaining that part, is that it makes a very big difference whether you're launching your product or you're expanding, trying to get more and more customers. So it does definitely matter where you are in the life cycle of that product. Has it already been selling? Do you want to increase your sales? Is it a certain let's say season where, like Christmas or something similar, where your product can be very successful and you want to push it a little bit more? So I believe the budget that you want to spend is in line with what you want to do.
Absolutely, right. And another thing is we need to keep in mind, we need to also keep a close watch on the competitors, right? Because it's the same keywords that even they are trying to advertise on. So, and the sweet spot is always the top of the page. You need to get those 4 slots, and you need to have your product advertised over there. So, to be there, you need to keep a check on how your competitors are bidding, and how they are advertising, for what kind of keywords they are advertising. And because recently there's a customer who's a pretty big brand in the US. When they have been advertising, when they started off, there was very little competition. So for the brand keyword, so that is their own specific brand keyword, they were out there, they were right at the top. And recently we realized there were slowly other brands creeping into that space. And the moment we saw that, we immediately took actions to ensure that we increase the way we bid for those keywords and have only our products advertised, and especially for the brand keywords. So, like you mentioned, what is it that we want to do? Is it a new product? Is it a seasonal product? Is it a growing product? Or just to keep an eye out on the competitors and see how you want to bid plays a big role in how much you want to spend.
I love Amazon because it's challenging and it's, very, very fast paced. That's what everybody discovers. So a question, I want to start Amazon business. How can I start?
I'm assuming this is again locally, it's a question for the UAE Middle East marketplace, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Find the product.
That is, yes, that is exactly what this whole session was about. To identify was analyze what kind of a product. So we need to also focus on what is it that is our strength, and we're really passionate about selling those products on Amazon or anywhere, right? It shouldn't be that we end up selling a product that we're really not passionate about. We lose interest, and then somewhere down the line, if you're not interested in the product, you kind of lose interest in the business as well. So it is important that we know our strengths. What are we good at? Do we know the ins and out of that product? Is it something that can be sourced locally? Is it something that can be sourced easily? So do your thorough product research, understand the market trends, understand what is the customer really looking for. Once you shortlist on a niche, or you shortlist on a category of product that you want to sell, understand what is it that the customer is really looking for through the existing product. You can use our platform also to kind of go through that and see. It's important to see if there's anything that a customer wants that's missing in the existing products, right? You can go through the negative reviews. You can see what the customer likes, choosing those positive reviews, and kind of really get a real good understanding of what is it that the existing customers are liking about the product, or they don't or they dislike in the product. And then go back to your drawing boards, rework on design, maybe on the existing product itself that is being sold, and come up with those new features that the customers are looking for. And then, of course, source it, send it to Amazon, have your complete proper listings generated using the keyword research, and then start advertising.
Perfect. A question from Parul. After running an auto campaign for 10 days, should we stop it and run manual campaign, or keep auto campaign running for more visibility in places we haven't thought of? So basically, is there a timeline of how long you should have your auto campaign on? Should it be 10 days, a month, a week? And should you stop it and then run a manual campaign?
I think she's already answered the question there. I should always keep an automatic campaign running. At least we keep the automatic campaigns running always, right? To probably just elaborate on that, the process, a typical process is you have an automatic campaign running, and then you identify the search terms that are converting for you, and then move it into a manual campaign where you have better control on how you want to advertise for those particular keywords. Now, you can always take these keywords from the manual campaign and mark it as a negative keyword in your automatic campaign. So what happens is when you mark a negative keywords in the automatic campaign, Amazon will not advertise your product for those keywords. So it'll stop advertising for those keywords that is there because you already moved that into a manual campaign. So you don't lose visibility, but you also have control on what automatic campaign. That's the only control you have on automatic campaign. Right? You can mark negative keywords, and then Amazon will start identifying new areas of products or keywords that is converting for you. So initially, when you're starting off a campaign, it is a good idea to have a higher budget in the automatic campaign. And once you have enough data, move them into a manual campaign and probably lower the budget for the automatic campaign, but always keep them running because that's where you get to know the different trends for keywords as well.
I loved what you just said, because you said when you create an auto campaign, you see the keywords that you are converting for. Because when you do keyword research and you use proper tools like Sellerapp, you already know the keywords that you want to rank for and the keywords that are relevant to your listing, but you don't know the keywords that you are converting for and that customers are going to use to purchase your product, and the keywords that you need to be focusing on with your advertising until you start advertising. So it's very important for sure. So because a lot of people say, well, I already know my keywords. That's true, but you need to know if those keywords are converting. That's the most important part. Another question from Ravi. He's saying that he created an auto campaign, I believe. He spent 200 dirhams a week, but he only got one sale of 80 dirham, which is for one piece. So basically, his product is not selling.
So there is not enough.
It's not
data
about the ad.
This is very specific. Yeah, I don't think there's a solution to this because I need to see what is the product and what are the keywords that are really getting targeted through those automatic campaigns. So I think what Ravi can definitely do is analyze the search terms. So you have the search term report that you get from the automatic campaigns, right? Pull that report out and analyze what are those keywords that are spending a lot of money, and see if those search terms or keywords are relevant to your product or not, right? And if you feel that Amazon is advertising or showing your product for negative search terms, you can take that and mark it as negative, right? Because you don't want Amazon to push your product unnecessarily, and you know for keywords that are not being advertised. So you start off with that and see if you can try to force Amazon's automatic campaigns to narrow down on the niche by marking all those keywords that are not relevant for you, and see how it goes from there on.
Perfect. There are a lot of people who joined us now and asking a little bit about the session. I just want you to know that the session is going to be on YouTube forever. So you can watch it again if you missed the first part, for sure. A question, a little bit of a technical question from Khadija. Freight forwarders, are they a good idea to send products to Amazon, or do they eat into your profits?
It goes down to how much of product you're selling or how much inventory you're selling. So I'm with the latest information that we have, I'm not very confident of freight forwarders as right now, because if you can send smaller quantities, it's okay. But then you need to always you need to do the math and understand if it is really like end of the day you need to send the product to inventory to Amazon, right?
You need to
So
send it, exactly. You need to figure out how to send it. Yeah.
You need to see what is more profitable, or which is the more profitable or economical way of sending it to Amazon.
Okay. I'm not sure about the name of the person, but what exactly is Sellerapp offering for UAE marketplace?
So for the UAE marketplace, as part of the platform, we have the advertising module and the keyword research module that is already live. So the advertising module comes with some amazing insight functions and the automation features. So it goes on to what the other viewers were asking about optimizing the campaigns, right? So automation feature within the platform will help kind of take care of the redundant, regular daily tasks by setting up some conditions. And the insights will give you data which so the insight section is something that is kind of a USP for Sellerapp, right? It's a completely, or it's a machine learning program that is incorporated where the platform analyzes your search terms at a granular level, which is at a search term level, which is the most granular level you can analyze the performance of your campaigns on Amazon, right? So it takes that and gives you data on what actionable data that can be used to optimize your campaigns. Another part is, of course, the managed services that we have to offer for the UAE marketplace, which is where we take care and we handle your Amazon advertising on the UAE marketplace, as well as currently we offer listing optimization services in English only. So that's it. And of course, if you have any other requirements in terms of doing some brand analysis or market analysis or for a particular category, that is something that we can also offer.
Great. I know it's a fantastic tool that you're going to love when you test it out. And you can go to the Sellerapp website, and they do have a trial, a 7-day trial, which can help you test it out and see if it's something that you wanna use. The last question is from Wakas, sorry, and it's a very technical question, which I think you're gonna enjoy, and it's about basically how to reduce the ACoS on PPC ads.
That's a full session, to reduce ACoS. So
maybe you're not going to enjoy this question. Sorry, Wakas.
No, so few things that you can always keep in top of your mind is to continuously keep an eye out on what kind of search terms are getting attributed to your keywords in any of the manual or the automatic campaign, and ensure that you very frequently go and mark those non-relevant search terms as negative, so you don't waste a lot of money on unnecessarily spending money on getting visibility for someone who's not going to purchase your product. So try to reduce your wasted ad spend by marking those negative keywords, and keep a close watch on how you bid for your keywords. It shouldn't be too high, it shouldn't be too low, else you lose visibility. And it is a long run process.
It is. It's I don't want anybody to be, we don't want anyone, Nathan, to be, we want to motivate people, obviously, to sell on Amazon, but we want to be realistic. This is not something that is a get-rich-quick scheme, and it shouldn't be, because if it was, then it wouldn't be real. This is a real business, and it does require all the necessary skills that any business requires. So you need to make sure that you equip yourself, because we want you to succeed. You can maybe launch a product without doing product research, without doing keyword research, and you might succeed, but the likelihood of not succeeding is going to be very big. So if you really want to do this and you want to minimize the risk of losing money and not succeeding, because money is not the issue, success is what we all crave. So if you want to do that, then you need to know the steps in order to create the proper business whereby you know it's going to be successful. Let's take one question before I let you go. Muhammad is saying, because this is something that we touched on a little bit. So you get a lot of people who are hijackers or Me Too sellers. What is a way of removing them or not having them?
Unfortunately, the answer is not going to be favorable to Muhammad over here, because Amazon does not, block sellers from selling products, right? So as an original seller, what you can do is prevent other sellers from being able to sell your product. And one good way is to have your brand registered, so you get more control on who gets to sell your product, and you get access to a few features that will help you when there is a hijacker who is hijacking your product. But otherwise, honestly, it's both the positive and the negative of Amazon, right? Anybody can just get on Amazon and sell any product. That is how amazing it is, because you can always, it's very easy for you to launch a product on Amazon and sell it. On the negative, it is also very easy for scammers to, okay, that maybe is a very strong word, but it, or, or
It's
it could
true
just
though,
be that,
but yeah.
another, anybody could just, replicate your product and sell it on your listing page itself. I think brand registry is one way to, it's not a sure shot way, but it is definitely a way that can prevent hijackers and you get more tools to protect your product.
I think also what we need to be very, very mindful of is that Amazon is at the end of the day, it's a retail store, but online. So the idea is any product launches, there is one person that creates this product, even in the retail environment. Think about clothing, think about all the trending products that you currently buy. However, people do replicate. It's very normal. You find it in fashion, you find it everywhere. People do replicate. You also need to be mindful of the fact that this is a natural part of selling, but you need to have the upper hand, meaning you need to constantly be improving your product, and you can do that. So you can start off with a product, a version 1 of your product, and then when you see it's becoming very competitive, a lot of people are actually selling something very similar to it, then you can come up with version 2. So that's something that you can potentially do. Focus on what you are able to do rather than on the things that you really, you don't have command of somebody else and what they want to sell. If they want to sell something similar to your product, you can only do so much in order to prevent that. But at the end of the day, this is not something that is under your control. And Amazon make it fair for everyone. You can do the same. You can go sell something similar to somebody else. Nithin, anything else to say other than go visit sellerapp.com?
I think we've got a lot, and it's exciting that it finally launched over here. And
Yes.
The key things we've already mentioned with respect to product research and advertising and keyword research. And like you mentioned, we don't want to demotivate people by telling them that it is time consuming, but it is very important that a new seller especially goes and gets onto Amazon with realistic expectations. They shouldn't be really expecting much out there, because business is hard work. And personal experience, I can say that it is, anywhere it is time consuming. You need to be really focused, dedicated, and do a lot of research and take baby steps in ensuring you become successful till you're successful. And we, of course, we have the tools, and we are striving to create an ecosystem that would help all sellers to make life a little bit easier to get onto Amazon and sell on Amazon. So you could always reach out to us, or you can reach out to Crystal, who could connect to us, and we can help you through the way. Another thing I'd like to also mention is we have this promotion for the Middle East specifically, because we've invited you, Crystal, over here. So we've got this code that you can probably just put it on, and it's called the Peak 50. So it's just PEAK 50. That's a code that all the viewers over here can use to get 50% discount on the subscription plan for the next couple of months.
Fantastic.
So since you're launching it, it's a bonus, I guess, for people who watch this now. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nithin. And thank you so much for everyone who attended. This is the first session of the Peak. We've got 7 other sessions. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so you are able to watch all of them. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Nithin.
Thank you, Crystal.